kind of just finding my way from the beginning. I wasn't going to play that event. I do play a lot of pot limit high, and I play some limit 08, and I've played maybe 2-3 months of steady cash of PL08, but that's it. I've never even played a PL08 tournament in my life. So for the first day, I was really playing pretty tight pre-flop and, pretty aggressive after the flop. And I mean, I was starting with better hands than my opponents, which is it's kind of boring about that game, but that's just super important in that game. You just have to have better hands. So, and I understand when to isolate and when to keep it, when to try to go multi-way with big high hands and stuff. So I was kind of finding my way and getting used to the game in the first day, and then I got a decent chip stack and was throwing my weight around a little bit in the second day. And at the time I was staying with, the guy I was staying with at the Rio, one of my best friends, Brian Brubaker. He's played a lot more PL08 than I have, so we talked a little bit. And he actually got 11th in the tournament.
Wow, okay.
So I got to talk a little bit with him while the tournament was going on. And, emulating some play I was watching with Scott Clements. And you didn't mention Dylan Wilkerson, but he was probably the best to the table as far as PL08 players
Yeah,
go.
I think he finished 8th or something.
Yeah, he did finish 8th or 9th, but he also, I think they made a deal, but he finished second in the 3K PL08 like 4 days later.
Wow.
So, yeah, I think he was probably the best PL08 player at the table. Maybe Scott Clements, I'm not sure. I understand tournaments, so I understand pressure and stack sizes, and I understand the game okay. So I was really, I don't know, I was learning as I was playing.
Is that what you would suggest to people that love that game? Patience is the big thing?
Yeah, well, your pre-flop hand selection is just super important. So after that, you can be really aggressive with big draws, or if you recognize a spot with good high hands, you can be aggressive with those. So you can get creative, but not pre-flop. You have to play pretty good hands pre-flop.
All right, well, let's talk about the final table because, I mean, you're sitting there. I mean, I know you play a lot of poker, but I'm wondering, were you intimidated at all when you look across the table and see Tom Schneider with 4 bracelets, Jeff Madsen? Those guys are both players of the year. And then, of course, Scott Clements, who everyone talks about as being one of the best. What were your thoughts going into that final table, and how did it play out for you?
So I was a middling stack or whatever starting the final table. But then right away, I won a really big pot against Dylan and against Dylan Wilkerson, and became one of the chip leaders. And at that point, I was kind of pushing people around a little bit. I knew there was guys who weren't going to let me get away with too much, like those guys you mentioned. But you can combat experience and knowledge with just reckless aggression, and I was kind of doing that, some of it. But yeah, those guys. I mean, sure. I'm not too intimidated at the poker table, but if I am going to be intimidated, it's going to be in not my best game against Scott Clements. You know what I mean? So yeah, for sure. And I know Scott really well. He lives in my neck of the woods. We had a lot of mutual friends, kind of railing also. So
well, I'll tell you what. I mean, when you look back at this years from now, and you look at the final table, you mentioned Dylan, but the other 3 big names as well. It really is an accomplishment, and it's almost better to do it this way against a tougher table than against a bunch of no names, right?
Oh yeah, it felt really great. And yeah, I mean, I haven't mentioned Tom and Jeff Madsen yet. You have, but they were great. Trying to pick up on how they were playing. Tom's obviously experienced the game. I think Jeff was kind of in the same boat as me, where he understands tournaments, kind of understands the game, and was kind of getting a feel for it as he was going. So he and I were kind of joking about that at the table a lot, which was fun. It was a really fun table to be at.
Have you ever been happier to see a 2 clubs?
No, I haven't. I was in shock when it hit. I'm not sure it set in as fast with me as it did my rail. They erupted right away. I wasn't even really sure I won yet. It was pretty amazing.